Sterling, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Let's talk about the news.
Well, there was quite a bit of news this week.
Well, the front page was all yours, wasn't it?
I think so.
Let's talk about it.
All right. Well, one item of note was the Big Manistique Lake's dam.
This is a big topic, isn't it?
It is, and it's been a topic for years and the subject of a lot of controversy. But now the issue is really who is responsible for this dam. A little bit of history. The original dam was built in the 1940s. It was built closer to the lake. It was all pretty much made out of wood, and a court order had set the lake level. But then in 1978, they constructed a new dam, the one that we still use today. But it's a couple of miles down the Manistique River, and it was the property, I believe, was owned by the 10 Curves Club, and they offered Luce County to put the dam there. The dam was built in 78, and the Luce County Circuit Court issued a court order saying that the lake was to be set, the lake level at 686.0 above sea level.
Is that controversial? It seems like people think the lake is either too high or it's not high enough, it's too low.
Well, right after writing several articles, this is, I think, my third article on the dam, or fourth article, I get a lot of people from one side that say the lake's too low, and then I get a lot of people on one side that say the lake's too high. The people that are saying the lake is too low, there are many who say they can't get their boats off their lifts, like their pontoons and speedboats and stuff. They can't get them off lifts. They have to put more dock out to, so they can get their boat out farther into the lake.
Right.
And then there's many who have told me that the lake's too high. It's eroding their shore. It's, damaging the shoreline. And so there's really, both sides. But of course, the court order is 686. But there is no winter level in that court order. And Manistique is also going through this issue right now because Eagle, the Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy, is going to go through pretty much every dam in the state of Michigan and evaluate the status of the structures, because back in May of 2020, the dam down in Midland collapsed and caused quite an environmental disaster down there. So Eagle is wanting this to not ever happen again. So they're going through, and Schoolcraft County was one of the first to be picked. The Carpenter Dam that controls Indian Lake, they have a 1945 court order that says the lake level, but you can't draw down the lake in the wintertime because that level is that level. There's no winter level. So the individuals with our dam, which, by the way, is in Schoolcraft County, so that it's caused a lot of confusion because Big Manistique Lake is in Mackinac and Luce County. The dam is in Schoolcraft County because it was put by the 10 Curves Club. So Eagle is basically saying now that Luce County is going to be responsible because they are the owner of the structure. And Schoolcraft County really has never really supposed to have been responsible. And every 3 years they've been paying a $5,000 inspection fee, which I attended the Schoolcraft County meeting last week, and the chair of the Schoolcraft Commission said, I've looked through these reports and there's seepage. Every report says that there's seepage in this dam.
So that means it needs to be repaired, correct?
It sounds like there's going to have to be some repair done.
And then who will have to shoulder that cost?
It's sounding like Luce and Mackinac County may be sharing. So there is a committee. It's called the Manistique Lakes Dam Citizens Advisory Committee. The documentation that talks about the committee says that there is supposed to be 3 individuals from Luce County and 3 individuals from Mackinac County representing the board, and then 1 commissioner from the 2 counties on the board as well. And they're supposed to be the ones who go in and regulate there's wooden boards that regulate the water level. And you go in the fall and you take out some of the boards to get the water level down a little bit, because in in the fall. You want to, but then again, the court order, there's no winter level, so they shouldn't be adjusting
it at any time, right?
So there's a committee that's supposed to oversee the operations at the dam, but there's been a lot of confusion as to who has been doing it. Has there been people back there that shouldn't? So I've been getting a lot of phone calls about the issue. But it kind of sounded like initially that Schoolcraft might be responsible, but I attended their meeting and no, it sounds like Luce County is going to have to be responsible. So
this kind of leads into another story that you had for us about the budget here in Luce County.
Right.
How they had to do some cutting to just get their budget all lined up. So can you imagine having to take on the cost of maintaining this dam?
Yeah.
So let's talk about the county budget. You went to that meeting?
I went to they had finance committee meetings to talk about trying to get the budget back on track here. And so they're going to be cutting a little bit of the hours in the sheriff's department, part-time cleaning person. And then they were supposedly going to be getting $20,000 back from the grant, from the reimbursement from the grant to the airport, and then $30,000 approximately in swampland taxes. And so after several cuts, the county budget was $30,000 in the red, but the money from budget stabilization fund will help make that difference.
So they had to cut back from the sheriff's department,
yes.
right?
Yep.
What type of cuts did they have to take on?
They took they get 80 hours per pay period, but then so now it's going to be 70 hours per pay period.
Okay, so 10 hours of less coverage for the county.
Yep,
right?
And that would be one would be the business manager and office manager, and then one would be one of the deputies.
Okay. So by looking at this article, it looks like they probably could have made up for that. I know that the commissioners talked about cutting their pay.
Yes, they did.
But then at the end, they kept their pay, right?
Yeah, some of the commissioners felt that it would be very hard to replace if they don't run again and people see that they're not getting any compensation for sitting on the board. They feel that nobody will want to take any of the positions.
Okay.
So that was one of the reasons they said they didn't want to get rid of the pay. And then some of the others said they were willing to take the pay cut. But
let's segue into the road commission. Now they're looking for funds too, right? Going after a grant?
They're looking for the federal Department of Transportation grant that would help in the ongoing efforts to pave the Luce County 407 and 410, which has been worked on for the last few years. The last grant they received, the $6 million grant, was through the Michigan Economic Development. And this one is through the U.S. Department of Transportation. They had announced that a $1.5 billion grant funds were available. It's called the RAISE grant.
Do they feel like they have a good shot at securing a grant?
It sounds like there's a better likelihood because that they've already put in a lot of money to get the road where it could be paved. They took some of the corners out, or sharp curves out, and some safety work, and then they put a lot of gravel down, and so I think they may have a better likelihood now that there's proof that there's been an investment in the project so far.
Well, I know that there's a group of individuals that are against this. They weren't at this meeting, were they?
No. The road commission, that was discussed at the last McMillan Township meeting, but the road commission meetings are at 7 in the morning, so it's hard for a lot of people to get to those road commission meetings.
Okay.
And they're on, I believe, the second Wednesday at 7 a.m. at the road commission, but I know some people have said it's hard for them to get there.
I would imagine so.
And then
It's 7 in the
people
morning.
that have to be to work by 8 o'clock, and
Right.
so, but I know they usually have an update every month of what's going on with this road project. So
Okay.
and then of course we have on the front page this week we have our beloved and favorite Christmas decorations are being put away for another year.
Yeah, I hope everyone was able to get out and enjoy the lights.
A lot of stuff going on.
A lot of news in this issue. So.
Yes, and we still don't know exactly what's going to happen in regards to the Big Manistique Lake Dam. When any news will come out, because I'm sure that there will be some news coming out in upcoming county meetings.
Sure.
Because they're going to have to be getting this order redone to have a summer and a winter level, and also a level or a clause in there if there's a severe drought or a flood, that you can regulate that water level to fit in with what's going on. But
so who do you think would regulate that? Eagle?
Well, Eagle's going to have to
step in,
but the order will have to be changed through the Luce County Circuit Court.
Okay.
Because the court order was set in 1978 by the Luce County Circuit Court.
Okay.
So,
all right, Sterling, this has been fun. It's always great to talk the news, and we'll try to do this again next week. Have a great weekend.